We are back here tonight with a special report on climate change and the potential impact on western New York. And I want to start here with an important distinction. NASA defines weather as conditions of the atmosphere over a short period of time. It's what Jen just did. Climate, on the other hand, is how the atmosphere behaves over relatively long periods of time. No doubt the weather has been pretty alarming of late, including here in this state, all the storms. Orange County, New York got about 9 inches of rain in a very short period of time earlier this week, leading to what's being described as a 1,000-year flood event. Historic flooding also hit Vermont and other parts of the Northeast. Then you have the heat. Folks in Miami have seen 31 consecutive days with a heat index of 100 or hotter. El Paso, Texas is at day 26 hitting at least 100 degrees. That's a new record there. And then you have ocean temperatures. Around the Florida Keys, the water is as hot as 96 degrees now. It's just a few degrees shy of most hot tubs. And it's not just there in South Florida. NOAA says about 40% of the world's oceans are dealing with this marine heat wave.
We're pushing our ecosystems and our climate into a different place than it's been for the entirety of human civilization. And that is alarming.
Yeah, that's alarming. So is this. You probably saw last week on Monday, we broke the all-time record in terms of the global temperature at 62.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The next day, on Tuesday, Independence Day, we broke it again, 62.9 degrees Fahrenheit on that day. It was the same temperature the next day, the Wednesday, and then on Thursday, yet another record. We surpassed 63 degrees Fahrenheit in terms of the global average temperature. So how do we know if this is individual weather events or if this is true climate change? Well, take a look. This may be some of the best evidence of it. In 1980, the average time between billion-dollar natural disasters was 82 days. Adjusted for inflation, the average time now between those events is just 18 days. Why is this happening? Well, NOAA tracks the global average surface temperature, and you can see in this chart, every year since 1980, we've been above the 20th century average. It's clear evidence it's getting warmer, about 2 degrees hotter now versus pre-industrial periods. The result, according to one study, is that by the end of this century, 13 million Americans could be displaced just along coastal areas as sea levels rise due to climate change. We previously reported why some of those people displaced should come here.
The oceans are absorbing much of the heat from climate change.
Harvard researcher Jesse Keenan told me these so-called climate refugees should consider moving here to western New York.
I think it's in a position to really take advantage of this and to really provide a refuge for people who will be on the move.
All right, and Dr. Jesse Keenan joins us live here tonight. He is now Associate Professor of Sustainable Real Estate and Urban Planning at Tulane University. Sir, we appreciate you taking some time for us. We talked there 3.5 years ago when you laid out why Buffalo is a great place for climate refugees. I wonder between then and now, has anything changed? And if not, explain to our viewers why Buffalo is a good place for people who you believe inevitably will be displaced.
Well, an awful lot has changed for the better and for the worse. As you correctly outlined, we are going through a period of time which is entirely uncharted in history, in civilization. If you think about it, we're looking at 8,000 to 10,000 years of civilization, over 100,000 years of existence as a species, and we are seeing temperatures and climatic and environmental phenomenon from which we've never experienced. And it's accelerating at a rate that, quite frankly, makes me nervous and stresses me out as someone who deals with this day to day. But I think what we see in terms of climate migration and domestic climate migration are increased numbers of people moving, particularly from the Southwest, the Gulf Coast, in certain areas of the country where extreme heat, regularized flooding, and extreme events are making them think about critically, making them rethink where they want to live and where they want to invest in the future. So we do see climate migration as well as managed retreat and processes where government agencies are now facilitating the relocation of people all across the country. So that's the negative. The positive is that communities and cities like Buffalo have taken active steps to prepare prepare their cities for future climate impacts and to think about sustainable urban growth and how we accommodate this influx of people. And I think that's a very positive thing for both residents today and residents tomorrow of Buffalo.
When you laid out this report about 3 years ago and kind of listed some of the cities where, you know, it would make sense for climate refugees to go, some of the things that you mentioned about Buffalo, obviously on the Great Lakes, right? It's also just kind of where we are positioned. We're not too far south dealing with the crazy hot temperatures. What is it about Buffalo that would make sense here?
Well, there's a number of considerations, some of which are environmental, as you highlight, in terms of access to clean water, which is water is the new gold, if you will, globally, and the scarcity of water that we all face. That's simple enough. But I think what Buffalo represents is a diverse workforce, and major investments in sustainable economy in Buffalo. We've had some up and downs in the region, of course, in terms of Tesla, but what we see is a general trajectory of investments to diversify the economy and frankly benefit from the larger megapolis of Toronto in the regional sense. So Buffalo has a great deal of opportunity. It's quite affordable. Even 3.5 years post-pandemic housing market later, Buffalo is still relatively affordable. And there's a quality of life and an investment in the city that I think resonates. So Buffalo has many strengths, and the region has many strengths to continue to attract people and continue to attract a diverse workforce. So in the long term, I believe Buffalo will continue to be well positioned.
Dr. Keenan, I've only got less than 30 seconds left here. More people are buying electric vehicles. We're making investments in clean energy. Are you optimistic at all as where we are sort of as a people right now in dealing with this?
Listen, we're doing we're making tremendous advancements in this country in terms of the renewable energy transition. We have a lot to do. We need to double energy transmission. It's all about getting that renewable energy to where we need to use it. But we are on a positive path. Will we get there fast enough to forestall some of the worst climate impacts? That remains to be untold. Where we are this summer even is a threshold that I've never seen and I never thought that I would see for some time. So climate is changing much faster than many experts anticipate or have anticipated. We are on the edge of total global disaster. And it's hard for people to understand that will impact us right here in the United States of America. Yeah. And it is something we're not prepared for. So yes, we're transitioning our economy, we're transitioning our energy sources, but are we doing it fast enough? Probably not.
Dr. Jesse Keenan is Associate Professor at Tulane University. Sir, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it.